Tec Sounds presents EduTrends.
Welcome to the EduTrends presented by the Institute for the Future of Education. This is a Tec Sounds podcast, official podcast of Tecnológico de Monterrey. I am José Pepe Escamilla. I am Associate Director of the Institute for the Future of Education. And today's guest is Tomi Kauppinen, the head of Aalto Online Learning at Aalto University. Tomi, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much, Pepe. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, we're very happy to have you here. I would like to start with a personal question, Tomi, if you don't mind. I would like to understand what motivated you to pursue a career in education, in this interaction between technologies and humans in education.
Yeah, it's been a long journey. I have always loved to work with people, and you see this moment when you see people learning something, having learned something. You see this sparkle in their eyes and you realize that, whoa, those people actually learned something. It can be after you have advised them or you gave them some interesting things to do. But this moment, I think that is very much motivating me.
Thank you, Tony. Very, very interesting. So along your career for many years, you have taught media technology, information visualization, AIs in different courses in different places around the world. What do you think has improved or transformed in terms of the learning process, the use of these technologies like AI, augmented reality, etc.?
Absolutely. So, I've been teaching both online and then in physical courses. And what has really changed is first of all, how teaching is organized. So it's much more now like two ways. It's group works. It's less like lecture type courses and more workshopping, being together with students. So I think that is one major change that I've been also trying to advocate and advance. But then also we have, let's say, external things like AI, you mentioned, augmented reality, virtual reality. So what they have brought, they are amazing tools. So I would consider AI as a tool. Now we can and we should really ask our students to make use of AI, but also to be very critical about the what AI is producing. So, for example, if AI can help them to learn about design, about storytelling, about different types of media technology, let it be like that. But then also take it as a stepping stone towards something better.
Fascinating. So, on one side is more like the see if I understood you well. One of the changes is more on the methodology. So it's more like learning by doing. You say workshopping. Am I correct?
Yes.
And why do you think that these technologies have changed these pedagogies? Let's say.
Well, one thing is that first of all, we have better technology in classrooms, so we can actually share also the results of what people have been ideating and creating in workshops. I mean, there are these tools like Mural. They can also be used in classrooms and then very easily shared to others via projectors, via laptops, and so on. We have been using, for example, Etherpad. It's kind of nice online tools for collaborative editing. Very super easy to use and share results of these workshops. So I think that has been one of the major things that has changed everything. And also online. If you think about like 10 years ago, I mean, we didn't have so good online tools, so good video conferencing tools available as we now have.
So, and the second thing that you say has changed is external things like AI and other technologies. And one of the things that you say is that students should be critical about AI. And that reminds me of your new book. Now, you just wrote a book a science fiction book that is available for downloading in Amazon called Human. I haven't had the chance to read the book, but I read the summary. And one of the things is around this book, I understand, is the adventure about what we call human in this future of AI-driven future. Can you tell us about a little bit more about your book and what do you think make us human?
Oh, yeah. Excellent, Pepe. Thank you so much for asking about this. So, I have to share you that I've been writing poetry and stories from 12 years old, poetry, I think, even earlier. And I've been always fascinated about storytelling. And for example, when I teach also information visualization, it's all about storytelling with visuals. So I thought this writing this science fiction book, Human, was a great opportunity to reflect and try to think what can potentially happen. I'm not saying that it will probably happen or that it's even desirable. It's more, I think, like a dystopia rather than a utopia. But the book is essentially bringing us somewhere in the future, quite far away, not too far away also, where there are people communicating, interacting with each other, but also with AI. And it has a lot of open questions like, what is AI actually doing? And I think we can already now start asking these questions like, what is AI? Is there any possibility that it will be sentient in some near future? Will it have a consciousness? Can we somehow limit the development of AI? I think it will be very hard, but with this book, I wanted to give it a try, through design fiction, science fiction experiment, what it could be, what the future would be. And you asked about what is the role of humans? Well, I think the role of humans is to stay as humans and to care about each other and interact with each other, and also not to forget that we are really responsible for the development of AI as well, responsible for the Earth, climate. We shouldn't forget our responsibility.
Great. So science fiction is a way of also envisioning some future, no? So it's a way of forecasting, no? But also of making us to think on anticipated or non-anticipated consequences of the use of technology, and that's a big question right now with AI, because we see that this is gonna transform a lot of things, but we're still not sure on how those things will change. So last Friday, I was having a conversation with Philip Schmidt from this. I don't remember the new name of this thing that MIT created with the money they sold. edX, the name will come. And so one of the things that we will thinking is, if we are not doing some like a higher cognitive processes, we don't need to use them, because we can rely on AI to do that. Mm-hmm. So right now we think, oh, that's cool, because we will use our brains to do other stuff, no? So that will let us free time to do other stuff. But what if we needed, in fact, we realize in the future that we needed to carry out those tasks in our development, so that it's also a way of learning, like a training our brain, no? Somehow to be able to later do other stuff that is more advanced. No, it's like a basic blocks. I don't know if I stated the concern. What do you think about that?
No, absolutely. And nice that you mentioned Philip Schmidt. I just emailed him like 3 hours ago. We met in Brave New Learning in Amsterdam the other year. So, but yeah, I absolutely agree that this is a huge concern. So one of my pet examples is like, think about you are walking from one place to another, like a new place. Do you allow yourself to be lost or not? If you outsource your mental capabilities to, well, your favorite map app, navigation app, right? So you will never have the feeling of getting lost. You will never have the feeling of, well, now I need to really, really be careful and have all of my attention to the surrounding space and like trying to understand where I might be and how could I reach the destination that I'm trying to reach. So whatever, I mean, if we give a lot of these mental tasks to AI, at one point we will not be able to even be lost. We will not be able to even learn these skills and mindsets. And that's really, really worrying if you think about it. I mean, we will be we will be less basically human than before.
This is it's definitely a human trait, but I will agree with that, but I can also have a counter argument if I wanna be on the other side. And I remember one of these great philosophers, Greek philosophers, I think it was Socrates, who said that he was worried that writing, the technology of writing, was spoiling young apprentices because they were not learning, memorizing, this great tradition of stories and poems and that they knew by heart. So it was he was worried about the future. That they were not, because at that time it was a very important thing to be able to memorize long texts. So with the time, I think proved Socrates wrong, at least in our view of society, because we find that writing is a very important technology, a very important tool for humanity. So I don't know if maybe something else, something similar happened with AI in the future.
No, I totally agree with you. And that's why I also mentioned earlier, like AI should be considered as a tool. We should be critical about the use of that tool, but also use the tool. I mean, I'm using also navigation apps all the time. But then I also have this hobby of trying to get lost. So I think we would need both, right? So to remind ourselves that, okay, we can perhaps try sometimes to go without tools, but then also, of course, to use tools. I mean, I'm using my laptop. I'm not using pen and paper every day, but we need tools.
Yes, you're right. So I would like to switch back to education and technology. So in the first question, I asked about how has technology changed the learning process. We're talking about, on one side, collaboration, and the other side, the use of AI. And I think that leads also to one of the projects you have been working on, the Cyber Physical Learning Alliance that you have been working and during your visit last month in January 2024 for the IFE conference, the conference of the Institute for the Future of Education. Can you tell us why cyber physical learning is important and why it is?
Absolutely. One key insight is that all the learning happens in some time and space, doesn't it? Whether it's physical learning, if it's online learning, even online learning happens in some time and space. So the educator is somewhere, the student is in some place and time. So if you think about this kind of basis, then it means that people are in different times and different spaces. So how do we really cope with this one in the modern world? So of course there is models for hybrid learning. So you have some people in some spaces, some people online, then you have big screens. But is this enough? How about if we would have really good telepresence, robots, different ways to feel more to be there with the other people in that other place and time? So one way is, of course, to rethink about how projectors work. Should we always project on walls? How about projecting also on tables where the students are working together? Also cameras. Do we always want to move our laptop to show some 3D model that we have been constructing? Or how about pointing the cameras also to tables, to workshop spaces? So really thinking carefully what is the learning experience of those who are there in the who are in the kind of rethinking of what does it mean when we are in physical spaces, and what does it mean, this learning experience, for those who are in the virtual spaces, in the cyber-physical spaces.
So during the pandemic, we had a certain combination of students. We had all our students online. We have some students face-to-face, but they were dispersed in the classroom. And then we tried a model here in Tec de Monterrey that was half of the course was the students face-to-face and half of the students were online. Also, they were separated, some of them face-to-face and some of them online. So this combination that was also tried in other places around the world proved to be, in my opinion, the worst one, no? Because instead of having the best of face-to-face and the best of online, you have to constrain to have like the intersection between the two worlds, no? So you have to get in the, maybe I will not say the worst of both, but none of the good things of any of those characteristics, no? That saying online. So I think in cyber physical learning, there's like a combination of face-to-face and online students. How do you think you will approach this problem to make things more smooth for students that are different?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the key is to carefully think what can be done asynchronously and what should be done synchronously. So with asynchronous, for example, peer reviewing of draft reports by other students, that can be well done asynchronously. So you don't have to be in the same place and time, right? So so there are fantastic plugins for Moodle like PeerGrade and the workshop plugins. So that can be utilized to organize peer review. And then also having a lot of examples in the course, quizzes, assignments, those can be also organized online and in an asynchronous fashion. So not kind of minimizing the need of being at the same time for all the students. And then when we have online participants and then physical participants together, I totally agree with you. I always, I'm not also a big fan of like having big, let's say, projectors and then participants online projected on those, because then you lose easily the human connection. So we have both been in such events where there's the facilitator is completely forgetting those who are online and concentrating more on those who are in the physical spaces. So I think we should really think about, first of all, what should be in the asynchronous part and what should be in the synchronous part. And when we think about the synchronous part, I think having more like, let's say, one simple example that I have been using is to place on the table one laptop, and there is one student and then another laptop. There might be a facilitator. So those people who are kind of participating via their laptops, the conversations can feel more to be at the same level as the other participants. And they are also kind of occupying not the physical seat, but one place in the table among with the others. So this is just a simple example. I know that Singapore University of Technology and Design have been developing this telepresence report, and that takes another step where the students can also project and use the cameras to communicate more efficiently with the participants. I think it's an active research field, and it should be so. So there will be, hopefully, via the Cyber Physical Learning Alliance, more and more interesting models and tools to be used by students and educators around the world.
Yes, I wish you success in this endeavor, because I think it's like the holy grail of flexibility, that you can choose to be face-to-face or online and achieve more or less the same level of interaction and activities could be a great achievement for flexibility. All that to choose how do you participate.
I think we did experiments. So when I, for example, moved to Germany to be a 6 months professor on cognitive systems, so AI and all those, my friends at Aalto said that how about you join still our lunch? And they placed one laptop in the lunch table with them. So I was always like participating in the lunch via this one laptop. And I don't say that it was the same experience, but it was very, very good experiment and experience. I truly enjoyed it. So I think we should really openly try new forms very creatively. And who knows, perhaps one of these will get us somewhere.
Like, that will lead also maybe to new pedagogies for learning in these environments. So, talking about the use of data in education, so more and more we are able to get data of teaching learning interactions. No, so how can we use data and AI to improve educational outcomes? How do you think we can do it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, we can, I think. So one interesting question is how do we help people to learn to learn? I think that is one of the also holy grails in the learning systems. And I think AI, data intelligence, can exactly help in that. So for example, if you see you set up some goals or you select like some goals set by the institution motivating you to learn, then you can, for example, if you can see yourself with the help of learning analytics, like where you are currently in terms of reaching those goals, in the terms of delivering good learning outcomes. So that kind of storytelling, visualization of your journey, I think that can help to, first of all, learn to learn, but also to learn the actual disciplines and transversal skills.
Interesting. So one of the things we are doing here is preparing an experiential classroom where we have a lot of technologies to get data from the students, so we can have data on their visual position of the body, attention of their eyes, but also brain activity, heartbeats, pressure, stress, etc., and getting simultaneous data from students that can be working in different environments, up to 15 students at the same time, that they could be working in a special collaborative methodology or using some technology, either face-to-face or interacting in these cyber-physical environments, and get lots of data points to understand better what's happening in their brain. It is still a proxy. Now it's not that we can say their brains, but it's this kind of technology that we think will make research on teaching and learning maybe faster somehow, and get more data points on how the students are learning.
That sounds fascinating. So do you have some early results of like, how does it, what is do you see any interesting correlations or causal effects even?
We have been doing some experiments for 1 year in individual students. So this year, the semester is starting today in Tec de Monterrey, the winter semester. And we will have students in classroom settings using these devices that, by the way, are very intrusive. No? So they are not intended to be used in a day-to-day. But what we'll like to understand is how can we trace this data and make some assumptions on what on the learning part or attention, interaction of the students in this either classroom or online or hybrid settings, no?
Nice. Very good. Looking forward to hear more about the experiments and results.
Thank you. One last question. So, what do you think it's the future of education technology? How do you think educational technology or the use of technology in education will be in the future?
So, well, there's many things. AI is one thing. AI is here to stay, and it will be very different in 10 years. Likely, we won't recognize all of the world, all of the universities in 10 or 20 years from now. Then also augmented virtual reality, they have been developing also very fast. And if people think like, okay, well, is augmented reality already here or when will it be? Well, mobile phones. I mean, look around in metros, buses, people are looking at their mobile phones. It's in many, many ways augmented reality. So it's augmenting what is already the reality. They are location-based apps. People are using them efficiently, and that will be more and more so also at the university. I would say that also what will happen is that the university will be also elsewhere than in the physical campus. So people can be learning in so many places by these location-based triggers, by also finding peers to learn with, also outside the campus. And then also I would like to highlight, last but not least, the role of human. So there is these 4 C's like collaboration, communication, creative thinking, and creativity. I think those will be very important also in the future, even more so perhaps, when AI can kind of create a lot of kind of background material, but then will AI replace collaboration, communication, creative thinking, creativity? I don't think so. And if it will, then we are in a deep, deep trouble as human beings.
Thank you, Tony. With this, I think I can connect back to your book, the new book, Human, this fiction book about a dystopian where AI is omnipresent and that asks the questions, what makes us human, no? What will make us human in the future? Thank you for your time and for sharing your thoughts on technology advances, the future of education, and being human. This has been a fascinating and enjoyable talk, and I believe it will be of great value for our audience. Thanks a lot, Tomi.
Thank you so much, Pepe, for having me.
For more information, visit observatory.tec.mx/edutrendspodcast and ife.tec.mx. A special thanks to Tecnológico de Monterrey, the Institute for the Future of Education, and the Tec Sounds team, EduTrends producers Esteban Venegas and Cristian Igosa. Stay tuned and play Tec Sounds in your favorite podcast app for other great shows and content.
Hola, soy Karina Rodríguez.
Y yo soy Mariana León.
Y te invitamos a escuchar Historias para Mentes Curiosas,
el podcast de Tec Science en donde te contamos cómo la ciencia impacta en tu vida.
Historias para Mentes Curiosas es parte de Tec Sounds Podcast,
la barra oficial del Tecnológico de Monterrey.